What's up, people? I'm back. As a little update to begin with, obviously my last few videos have been on like fitness stuff and stuff about my marathon running and training, or football training and stuff. Currently right now, as you probably saw in my last video, I mentioned like a hip injury or a bit of hip pain. Unfortunately, it's become something more than I thought it would be. It's one of them. So right now, I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is. I'm hoping that it's nothing major. I feel like it's going to be a little while before I can get back to doing what I have been doing in the past few videos. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but we move. Alright, I'm going to have to try and speak a little bit louder. Alright, in the meantime, while I'm rehabbing this injury, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for the past week or so, and that is like where I go next in terms of a career, like the day-to-day stuff. Considering that I'm picking up lots of injuries, I can't really hitch my emotional well-being on being able to play a full season of football alongside a job that I'm not too bothered about. For me personally, I don't want to do any more education, like academic stuff. I just find it so boring. I cannot see the benefit of it. Me personally, cannot see the benefit to my interests and therefore the career that hopefully I'd end up pursuing. Which kind of brings me on to my next point, which is talking about my experiences at university, and whether, I can't really say whether it's for, whether I recommend it for other people, but give a bit more like light to the experiences that you get when you go to university. I think for me, unfortunately, one, I picked up injuries, so it cut my time short essentially with the teams that I was playing with, and just my sporting experience was massively hindered, I suppose, when I was there, so that was really disappointing. Also, I don't know if this is the case at other universities, but the one that I went to, they kind of didn't really live up to the promises that they made on, you know, open days and times that I visited. With me not coming from a high caliber academy, I didn't get given what they were promising, which is fair enough. It's a business, by all means. To me, yeah, it was just a real disappointment and an eye-opener really to how like sporting institutions are run. Obviously it's competitive, lots of people are wanting to go there for the facilities, the high level coaching, which to be honest I didn't experience. And by the time I finished, I decided that the degree wasn't really for me. Yeah, you know, I spent 3 years figuring that out, which probably wasn't the greatest use of my time, but I'm not interested in doing any work in sport apart from playing, do you know what I mean? So, which I can imagine is a lot of people's, the way that a lot of people see it, but they probably didn't go to uni for 3 years to figure that out. Yeah, a shame. Again, another discipline. For me, the actual university experience, like the socialising, living away from home, I moved away from home, and living, like I say, like with your mates, that is 100% like one of the biggest things that I would recommend university for. Before I went to university, I wasn't the most like confident, outspoken person, so 100% recommend it for people who are maybe a little bit less confident. I value the life experiences and the life skills that I've got from university much more than the degree or the sporting aspects of it. But yeah, at the end of the 3 years, which is where I am now, I've graduated, and yeah, it's really tough. Like, I've come out of that situation of being so hyper focused on my sport and then not really having much time for anything else, and now I've got like all the time in the world. I feel this like ridiculous amount of friction to make a decision to sort of like, okay, let's like at least put one foot in front of the other, do you know what I mean, and move towards something, even if it's not like the end goal. But yeah, I heard this quote, like, how can fate take the wheel if your car is in park? If you have the handbrake on, how can fate run its course? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I have that. I'm in that situation now where I'm like, the handbrake is so far up right now, and it's incredibly difficult for me to just let the handbrake off and roll down the hill, and then start steering on the way down. Do you know what I mean? I've had such a clear vision of what I was going to do up until this point, and up until I started picking up injuries and decided that I didn't like what I was doing at uni. I think we all have this perception that everybody else has it figured out, and even for me being like self-aware enough to know that I have that perception, but it's just a common misconception, you know? From an outsider looking in on someone else's life, it looks like they have it figured out, you know? Because why would anyone tell you that they didn't? You know what I mean? They don't know what they're doing. No one would tell you that. One thing I know for sure is that if I move anywhere, it's got to be by the sea. Has to be. One thing that I just want to add is the ability to deal with change. I think that is one of, if not the most important skills and characteristics that you as a person, especially like a young person, can have. If you take me for example, I went to university and thought that my career would be in sport, and now that that plan has changed, I'm finding it difficult, in all honesty, to not have that part of me steering the ship anymore. You know, the part that wants to train all the time. Just like the added pressure of knowing now that what comes next is buying a house and like really settling into a career. And for me, like, I'm sure people will be wondering why I don't just kind of try everything and whatever. And I don't know if this is maybe naive of me or immature, but for me, like, I want to have an idea of an end goal that I'm trying to work towards, and then I'll try loads of things within that area. I don't like the idea of like trying to be a barista and then the next day I'm mowing lawns, and like while that's all right, and you'll get a good idea of like these jobs that you want to do, I can't see myself doing stuff like that for one. And also I want to have an end goal in mind, otherwise I'm going to feel so unmotivated and just find it really difficult to get through the day to day, I think. I hope this has maybe brought some insight and maybe even a little bit of like, I know for me, if I saw this, obviously I would be comforted by the fact that I know someone is in the same position as me. Hopefully that kind of provides a similar thing for someone. If not, it's therapy for me to get it off my chest and put it somewhere. And also just being out here is pretty nice. So if you don't already, follow my Instagram, and I have TikTok as well. They'll all be linked in the description. That's where you can see probably more of my regular day-to-day kind of stuff is posted there, plus just short form content that's not on here. And yeah, in the meantime, I will keep moving forward and keep the journey going. Hopefully when the next time I post, I'll have an idea of what I'm doing, or if not, I'll be back doing some sort of exercise to keep me sane.